boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
WESN.
And I am a lone soldier this morning, but it's okay. The show must go on. So today on AM Prime, we are serving up something a little different. It's a conversation about passion, professionalism, and purpose in the food service industry. Author Charmaine Rivers joins us to discuss her new book, The Joy of Service, for the professional food server. It's a guide that not only celebrates the dignity of the role, but also reminds us that great service is about much more than taking orders. It's about connection, pride, and excellence. Good morning, Ms. Rivers. Welcome
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Of course. So, well, congratulations on your new book. What inspired you to write The Joy of Service?
I have been in this industry for 31 years to be exact. And what I've noticed is that customer service is not at the forefront, not just at restaurants, but food trucks, anywhere, doctors' offices, law firms, anybody that interacts with normal customers, patrons. We have our inability to serve and just do it kind and be polite and courteous. Oh my God, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why did you? So now knowing that we understand that service is usually bad in this country, why did you choose to focus specifically on professional food services, and what makes your role so vital in the hospitality industry?
Hospitality, like I said, it is a career. A lot of persons look at it as a stepping stone, or just a filler job. I'm just going to, I'm going to be a server. And it's okay, but I think once you get there, is to really develop this skill. Because once people come to you, it's an experience they're expecting. It's not just about the food, it's about the service that make people come back. It's about the little things, the good morning, the good afternoon, the thank you. Can I help you? Oh my gosh, it's just the little things that matters.
Yeah. So the title speaks of joy. How do you define joy in the context of service, and why is it important?
Listen, Gail, anybody could tell you I love my job. I love what I do. I have been manager of food and beverage services at the Office of the Parliament for 17 years. Prior to that was Cape Rock Hotel for 9 years, where I was dining room manager for both restaurants. And it doesn't matter. For me as a manager, I roll up my sleeve. I think if you find pride in what you do and that passion, Gail, I just love to serve. And there was no other name fitting for service than the joy. Because once you love what you do, it's not even work anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So was this book shaped by your personal experiences?
It definitely was. It's over the years, like I said, is the level of inconsistent service that people receive. But last year, July, Hotel School Tobago reached out to me to conduct, to facilitate classes, Accelerate Your Ambition, where they were training persons for hospitality industries in Tobago, hotels, guest houses and stuff. And one of the things that I had to teach was the professional food server, but there was absolutely no book on it. There was nothing on it.
Okay.
And I started to document, and I had my staff every day coming and we role playing and documenting and writing. And I said, no, I have to get this right.
Yeah. So at what point of your career did you realize this was a passion? Because based on what you're saying, you know, the joy of serving, in order to serve well, you have to have a love for it, a joy for it, a passion for it.
I think I often say it's from small. I always love serving. From small, any family gatherings, I'm always there helping. You get invited, but I go in people's kitchen, help and serve. It's just something. I love to see people smile. I love to exceed. I love to exceed expectations. You know, when they pay attention to emotional intelligence, people, they can tell, something wrong. What can I do to brighten that person's day?
Yeah.
And that is where it came from. So that was from small, probably about 10 years.
Yeah. Can you give us one specific example from your expansive career where, you know, you would have felt like this is what I love to do?
I think when I started to train, when I was at Hotel School Tobago and I went to Cocoa Reef as a trainee, when I got there, of course, being Trinidadian, it was just two of us, 2 students went. And when I started to actually work in the industry and serve persons, I said, this is me. This is it here. Yeah. So it wasn't even about being a manager at that point. I didn't want to stay in the office. I wanted to come down and pour tea and pour coffee and say good morning and take reservations. Yeah, that's when I knew this is there. This is for me.
So, okay, let's talk about some of the key takeaways or the themes of the book, right? So, key principles or messages that you hope readers would take away from it once they begin reading or on completion.
Think once the book was designed, it was intentional. The size of the book, it is easy to put into your handbag. It's like a coach. Every aspect of service in the hospitality industry, every aspect, from taking a reservation to presenting a bill, it's written as a documented guide, step by step. So if it is that you're unsure of how to approach, you open the book, it tells you what to do, step by step. Go to the customer, say good morning, identify yourself, the time of day, because I hate people to say good day. There's nothing like good day. It's good morning, it's good afternoon, it's good evening. And those little things do matter.
Yes.
It just makes you the professional that, you know, you want to be. People see you differently.
Yes.
Because let's be real, in the service industry, a lot of persons look at it more as servitude, that obligation to serve, instead of I get to do this, I love doing this. And then people will respect you differently. Yes,
it's more or less treated as this is, I'm coming to work, this is my job.
And let me just do it and go. And that's it. And I never want persons in the industry to feel that way.
So how do you think persons in the industry can raise the standard of their work? And I know attitude will play a big part, but how can they, you know, how can the standard of their work or their attitude increase to better serve the customer?
I think it's a skill. So a lot of times persons open a restaurant or you buy a food truck. It's prettiest design, decor, ambience, but they take persons, unskilled persons, and just put them in that space. What would you expect? If you don't train, see, if that's skilled, if you want to be better at your job, it's just to learn and develop yourself. You don't have to wait for the employer to do it. It's about bettering yourself, to getting the skills. So the book is actually showing you, it's a guide for the skills for you to be better. Because if you want to be just like you, for your job, you can't just sit and say, oh, well, I'm just going to be a journalist and I'm going. No, you want to do things every day that will put you in a better position. It's just like me. So apart from doing this, that's why I went and do etiquette training. And not just at the American School of Protocol, but with Burma etiquette, with the Eileen Donahue from Ireland. You want to really people to understand the concept of service and why it's important.
How do you see the connection between service and personal growth or personal development?
in any industry, is service. And personal development plays an important role. Even if I tell all my employees, even if you come in as a server at the bottom of the barrel, it doesn't mean you stay there. Once you, everybody's an academically inclined, which is understood. Everybody's not that, but everybody has a chance and a potential to succeed. There's so many courses you can do for your own personal development, which will help you, because once you see you grow mentally and you grow emotionally, of course, you will grow anyhow you put in any industry you go into. It's just about taking the time and investing in you as a person.
Yes, you have to have the drive and the care. You have to
Of
care about
course,
yourself. I think, yeah.
You have to. It's just about doing that, caring about who you are and the job that you're doing and loving what you do.
Yes. So I think, we're kind of, the food or service industry would have evolved in a sense, and now we're kind of in an era of fast food and technology. So, how can we preserve the human touch in hospitality when it comes to these fast food or, food chains, these interactions where you're in a drive-through ordering, or you go to an outlet, a food outlet, and you have to make an order? That is still, to me, you still have to be hospitable.
Of course, and you still have to be professional, not just hospitable, but professional. It doesn't matter. It could be a fast food, and even for the new person that's opening a food truck, that human interaction. Good morning, how can I help you? We have this, and it's not, we don't have this today, but give a solution we don't have, but what I can tell you, we have this. Would you like to try? It's just about giving suggestions, just about having that. Again, if you love what you do, it is not that you're working hard, and that is the thing. So food trucks, restaurants, doctor's offices, anywhere there's a interaction with persons, oh gosh, just stop and say hi, good morning.
Yes.
Your brand, you're the ambassador for the place that you're working.
So this book, it touches on all those aspects, not just restaurants, but as you said, the food trucks, the fast food chains.
Everybody that in the food industry, every person that is in the food industry. I mean, I would love, my dream is to see persons when you go, listen, we go out, my sisters say, can you not say anything today? And I say, I would really try. And you go and there's so many restaurants, you may go, you expect that, your expectations are low, because when you walk in, they're congregating. They turn it's like you're bothering them. Hi, it's like, hi, any service, what's going on? It's like, I didn't want to call the restaurants. And I can go right now on the same, and this is a huge food chain.
Yeah.
Why? Why is it you can't stop and know there's no congregating at the front? And your most important person is your guest. Why?
Yes. Yeah. So I know, okay, so your book targets the server, the professional server. What about the customer? Because I think, do you think in the Caribbean, our servers receive enough respect for their work by the customer, and if how can that perception be changed if not?
I think so. That's a really interesting question, because I often say if you do your job with that level of pride and professionalism, people would treat you as such, as that professional that you are. But if you come and you give mediocre service and you don't care, why should I treat you? Why in somebody else's mind, why should they treat you with some level of respect? You don't respect me as a customer. And that is it. So I think once you do your job with that level of professionalism, you can't tell me nobody would respect you for that.
I think, sometimes there are cases where the customer might come in with already a bad attitude, and it's up to the server, the person serving you to keep a level of professionalizam, decorum, but sometimes that's hard for people. And
it takes a special,
and suppressing your emotions and realizing, okay, I have a job to do, but it's serving. I think serving is one of the most underrated jobs, underrated things that you can do, because dealing with people is not always easy.
It isn't. But at the end of the day, like even when I trained a restaurant last week, and I was telling the servers, yes, but some customers, they're so challenging. I say, yes, it takes a special kind of person to be a server. And once you understand your job, there are times in your head you say, oh God, I can't deal. But nobody should ever see that on your face.
Yes.
So even if I don't like how I'm being treated when I come with that level of, I would still maintain that level of professionalism. And if it is, it's really difficult, then you get somebody else to handle it, bring the manager, get them involved. But you never, never, never show disrespect to your guests at no point in time.
Is it true that the customer is always right?
I do. So I'm an owner. I own House of Tea in Arima. And I have had instances where I had to put customers out because you're really being disrespectful to staff. And you're being difficult and you're being challenging. And it's when challenging is one thing, but disrespectful to staff for no reason, no. Yes, the customer, people say on one hand, the customer is always right because they're the person that pay our bills. All right? Without customers coming, we have no business.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, as a manager, you have to understand, or owner of a place, you have to understand, no, they're not always right. And you have to stand up for your staff as well. So you can go and have a conversation with that customer and let them know, okay, I understand how you feel, but this is the guideline. This is how we manage this place.
Yes.
But it's about having conversation and really communicating with the person.
Right. So what advice would you give to young people entering the field who may not see this as a long-term career?
Listen, I don't understand. Hospitality is a career. I have been here 31 years. And it's something I love, and I can't see myself doing anything different. Even at Parliament, you know, where I'm not supposed to serve, I'm still serving and pointing for members. I love what I do. I would tell persons, even if it's a stepping stone, make it one of the best stones to step on. Because this is only going to help you in your future, really. Be the professional that you can be. It's a blessing to serve persons, you know. Not everybody could do it. To take a job with that level of pride, listen, it'll take you places you know. I live by a quote that says, good manners can open doors, the best education cannot. I live by that quote. It's by Clarence Thomas. And I wish people to understand it. If you understand your job, nobody can look at you and you can't see yourself as just being it's an obligation to serve.
Yes.
No, it's something you get to do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, so do you, can you give us a little excerpt from your book, read one or two lines?
From it?
Just to give the viewers an idea of what
it is?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about, I'll tell you one of the things that I hate. So, as servers, I often think we need to polish up ourselves, right? So I have, in part of the book, is instead of saying, try saying. So one of the things that we love to say is, yeah, 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 sure. And one of the things you could say, certainly. It just sounds so much more professional and so much more tasteful. We like to say, no problem. No problem is a problem. So if I'm asking somebody, say, no problem, why can't I just say, certainly, ma'am? I can get that for you.
Yeah.
There are things, sign here. You could sign here. Can you just approve? It's just making you the more polished person and the more professional person. I believe, it's in the greeting time, like I said, I have a problem when people come and say, good day. There's nothing like good day. It's good morning, it's good afternoon, it's good evening. And it tells you why. Good morning from the time 12:01 to 11:59. It's just things that would really help us truly better ourselves.
It's in the detail.
It's the detail.
Yes.
It's paying attention to the small things that people overlook.
Yeah.
You know, and the communication, why it's important to watch customers in the eye and to smile. And how it's so important for you to understand that even when you're on the phone, I'm sure sometimes you call a friend and they say, what happened to you today? Why are you sounding like that? They haven't seen you. But just from the tone of your voice, they understand that something is wrong. So all that in telephone etiquette, it tells you, no, you have to have a warm smile. Even when you pick up the phone, you have to smile. You can hear a smile. You know? So those are the things that's in the book. I mean, your parents, the major sin of a server is leaving somebody with a menu in their hand for too long. It makes them feel that you're not interested or just not acknowledging. So it tells you why not to do things and what you should do.
Yes. I think these are little things that we know. When we hear it, we're like, oh yeah, I know that. But we don't necessarily, we're not aware of how important it is.
Correct.
Yeah.
You're very correct. And it's, like I say, it's every aspect, attributes of a great server, not just a good server, but a great server. It's about being knowledgeable, about having that positive attitude, you know, about being organized, punctual. You have to understand, if the restaurant opens at 6 and it's supposed to be there at 5:30 and you come at 6, you're late. You come at 5:30, you're late because it takes time for you to put on your bag, to go. And you can't tell a guest, well, Shamina's late today, so no, they don't want to hear that.
Yes.
No. And those things is what makes you and separates you from the other person.
I agree. So let's talk a little bit of the writing of the book. So what was the writing process like for you, and were there any challenges?
Because, but I think for me, honestly, because I've been this in 35, it's easy to role play and do. So what, for me, what I would have done with my staff, I would have had them there role playing, no, change our tablecloth. No, that's not the first thing. The first thing, they put one over. And just documenting. Then I had to do a PowerPoint for the students.
Yeah.
And from the PowerPoint, I had a team of persons and came together and summarized it and started to write down. Because remember, most times food servers are persons who didn't do academically well in school. Let us be real.
Okay.
All right? It doesn't mean that they can't have a lucrative business. It doesn't mean that they can't achieve. I have staff who works with me part-time. They're presently employed at great hotels. And they would tell you their service charge alone, sometimes $7,000 a fortnight.
Yeah, wow.
I had a staff who tips for Carnival alone was $22,000.
Wow.
So, and that happened because she's great at what she does. So these are people I would have taken and sat with, and no, that's not it. So it was days and hours, and they probably was getting upset. Yeah. So they had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. But I was just, no, from the beginning, let's do this over. No, I'm missing a step. That is not what you do. Walk out that door, come back in. You pretend you're the receptionist. No, that is incorrect. It took hours and days and months, but that was the process. And I had a great team around me. I had Leah and Ebony who would have, really kind of put it together after I would have sent everything forward. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have, is this book, the one and only? Do you have plans to create more in the future?
I definitely want to do one on etiquette, because I am big on etiquette and customer service. Even though I train, I specialize in food and beverage management, of course, training persons for the industry, to be a consultant for restaurants and stuff. I also do a lot of work with customer service because, well, I told you my pet peeve for customer service and bad customer service. And I don't believe it's either it's bad or it's good. Yes. There's no middle, there's no gray line in between. No, it's either it's good customer service or bad customer service.
I think I can say when the customer service is bad, it ruins the entire experience of just sitting down and dining and eating. And it really, I think the other day recently, I was at a restaurant, and I was by myself. I took myself out. It was just one of those things. I'm like, I'm going to take myself out. And I remember being on the phone with my friend afterwards, because she asked me, how did it go? And I'm like, that was the worst experience of my life, because I was alone, and I didn't have anybody to talk to share the experience with. So obviously, I'm way more aware of what's happening around me, of how the waitresses and waiters are treating me, just the service all around. And it was the worst experience of my life. I wouldn't say where I was, but it was just, I felt it. I was like, I didn't enjoy it. Even eating the food was great, but the experience overall was just horrible. Like, the wait time was long. I think the restaurant was busy as well, so that could have been a factor, but it was just...
But let me ask you, would you go back there again?
Alone, no.
And that's my point. I often say, you can have the best food and customer service isn't good, you would hardly ever go back.
Yeah.
You could have great customer service and the food wasn't good, we make an excuse for the chef and say, today was a bad day in the kitchen, probably. Because the service was so good, you're going to go back.
Yes.
And people don't understand. When you understand that, that is what makes the difference.
Yeah, because I think as a customer, you might if you go to dinner with friends or family, having conversation, being with people that you enjoy being around, you kind of dismiss, or you don't necessarily realize how the customer service is at the point in time. So being by myself, I think that's where I was like, what, like, I've never come here and it was this bad. Or maybe I just didn't realize it was this bad.
Exactly. Because you're always you're conversing with someone, so you don't realize you wait time for the food. They don't realize, they haven't even acknowledged us yet.
Yes.
You don't realize because the conversation is so good.
Yes.
But that is my problem, my customer service. So even at my establishment, House of Tea, is something I pay great attention to. Because I often say, from the time you pick up that telephone to make that reservation, that that customer, even if they don't want to come on that day, they must want to come some other time because you were so kind and so polite and so knowledgeable.
Yes, and I think too, if the when you call to make a reservation, if they're not polite on the phone or you're not hearing, it sounds like they're stressed. It sounds like they're having a bad day. You kind of now your entire perception now
changes.
Yeah, and by the time you get to the restaurant, you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. I've experienced that. It's
expectations.
true.
You already have lowered the expectations. You don't expect anything great there.
Yes.
And that was the reason. So even in every aspect of my journey in doing etiquette, where I train for etiquette, because I believe every person deserves and have to understand etiquette is for everyone.
Yes.
It's not just for what school you go to, it's for all schools, it's for every person in every walk of life.
Yes.
So merging the etiquette together with the training, with the customer service, I said, no, no. I have to.
It was much needed.
Yeah, it is needed.
Yes. So where can we get this book? Where can we find the book?
Presently, we have it at House of Tea. So you can get it at House of Tea in Arima. You can call, what's House of Tea number? I'll have to give the number. I don't remember it offhand. As well as it's going to be in bookstores from next week.
Okay.
So, yes, and it's on Amazon.
Okay, what bookstores do you,
Well, we're going to have a series, Gil. I'm not sure. We're going to have a whole suite of bookstores.
Okay.
It's just me to pinpoint, but definitely we're going to have it in bookstores as of next week.
Do you have a cost point?
It's going to be between $200 and $230. Getting it from House of Tea is going to be $200. I think the bookstore is probably going to have it for $230. But yes. So and Amazon is, I think, like 22 something, but it's a soft copy.
We got the number for House of Tea, so it's 728-3081.
Thank you.
Yes. So if you are interested in getting the book, can I?
Of course.
Yeah. So this is the book. If you are interested in getting this book, The Joy of Serving, you can contact House of Tea 728-3081, and that would, and you can order a book. Like Shameen said, it would be in bookstores soon from next week, maybe like this week, Wednesday. Right, and the cost starts at $200, or you can order the book on Amazon. So I think we ought to really have a look at the book. The cover, everything feels, it feels great in the hand, especially. So this is something I have not seen before. So well done. I really do think that this is much needed, because not even in the food industry, but just customer service on the whole in retail, in malls, and there's this thing that Trinidadians have, like with penny-wise customer service. Even that alone, oh my gosh, people talk about it. It's something, and to say that it's trending, I don't know if persons feel like it's cool, it's funny. Yeah. Because we make jokes about it all the time, but it's so important. And I personally deal with people on a daily, and not just here, but with my mom. She has a swim school, so we're constantly dealing with customers. We are providing a service, and I think anytime you're providing a service, it's always important to keep a smile on your face, to interact with the most positive attitude that you can, and it's not hard. It's not easy, but as long as you love what you do, I think it comes naturally. And definitely. I see that with you 100%.
Love. Can't see myself doing anything else.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Shameen, for joining us on the program this morning. And we, when you do create your etiquette book, yes. I would love to have you back on, because this conversation was definitely enlightening and very interesting.
Thank you so much for having me. It was my pleasure being here. And please, I would just like Trinidad and Tobago to know it just takes nothing to be nice, to be kind, to just, you never know, it's just to give people that experience and exceed. The aim is always exceeding customers' expectations.
Yes.
It's an experience.
Oh, yes.
So.
Oh, my gosh. Could not have said that better. I 100% agree, because I've experienced bad customer service on many different levels, different situations, different places, and it is difficult. So this is really nice. Would you possibly consider, this book being In education institutions?
I know we almost finished.
Yeah.
I have to say that. My aim, Silver already adopted it for their school, for hospitality, Tobago Hotel School as well. My aim is to get it in the government, all secondary schools, because like I say, a lot of persons may not be academically inclined, but there's a whole career out there.
Yes.
There's cruise ship, there's the restaurant industry, hospitality, the hotel industry. And I really would want to get, I called the ministry yesterday to see if I can get it on the curriculum and get it in each library in the government on secondary schools.
Yeah, yes.
So that is my aim. So I'm working on that.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Well, I wish you all the best.
Thank you so
that.
much. Thank you.
So that was Charmaine Rivers on her book, The Joy of Serving. Yeah, so when you get a chance, take a look at it. You can find the book on Amazon, or you can call House of Tea at 728-3081. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue on with another conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
All right, good morning and welcome back to AM Prime on WESN. My name is Jada McLeod. So today we're going to continue a conversation, we're going to highlight a conversation on men's mental health and youth empowerment. So we are joined by Mr. Nikolai Rampasad and Priya Ali of the Trinidad and Tobago Youth Advocacy Network. They're here today to talk about their Mankind 5K and Amplify Youth Advocacy Program. It's something that I think we need to highlight at this point in time, as it's a very important topic, especially surrounding men's mental health, as we are in the month of June, which is Men's Mental Health Month. So welcome to the program, Mr. Rampersad and Ms. Ali.
Good morning.
All right, I know it's pretty early and you've joined us so early in the morning. What's your morning routine like? How do you usually prepare for the day?
Well, for me, on the way up, just turn on some gospel, spend some time praying while I'm driving. So yeah, that's my morning routine, and come up to it to work. And that's really refreshing for me. That's how I start my day.
That's quite diligent.
Yeah.
Likewise, on a heavy breakfast.
A heavy breakfast. So what is a heavy breakfast? What do you like?
Some pancakes and eggs and stuff like that. Orange juice.
I love that. Yeah. What do you eat any fruits? Like, do you recommend any fruits in the morning?
I normally do it in a smoothie.
Ooh, you're a smoothie girl.
Okay,
Me too.
With some yogurt,
Ah, yes. We had to down pat. We actually had a nutritionist come in a couple of weeks ago to tell us about what constitutes a good meal. And they were talking about the importance of getting your fruits and veggies in that compact way, especially if you can't. A lot of people can't eat fruit. They can't stomach the taste or the texture of it, so you got to put it in a smoothie. I was shocked when I heard about that. What do you think about that?
Well, I've actually recently started a little no-flour diet. So I've been having fruit for breakfast for the last 3 weeks. And I have to say that it has been amazing. I think there's a surge of energy that I get with the fruit for breakfast. And it's a nice change. I don't think it's a permanent thing, but I wanted to do a change and start that healthy diet.
That's lovely. That's lovely. I'm actually on a health kick myself. I'm trying to keep it sustainable. But I love me some Greek yogurt in the morning with some fruit, some pineapple, dragon fruit. I love that myself. And I know my co-host, Naomi, she is the best at it as well. She's on this health journey as well. And then, as you guys would know, she's an athlete. So we try to keep it healthy here on AM Prime on WESN. All right, I have to ask you guys this. You guys are both very young, but you're doing very impactful and passionate work. Can you tell me what got you into youth advocacy in general?
Sure.
I would say just the situation that we have with youth these days being misguided. I wanted to be a change for that. So that is basically me. I look at our society and I think I need to change this, something about it.
That's a nice mindset to have. It's very supporting. It's I want to actually make a difference. A lot of people will take that from a individualistic standpoint, where I want to do good because I want to receive all the accolades, not because I want to help others.
Correct. Yeah.
Mr. Rampersad?
Well, Mr. Rampersad make me sound so old. But I think along the same line of prayer, but also for me, we all say, well, someone will do it. Someone has to do it. But nobody takes the opportunity or takes the risk or takes the chance to say, okay, why doesn't it start with me? So if we all pass the buck and say, okay, someone will do it, and we don't take charge of our future, of the affairs of our country, then we can't really expect somebody else to do it for us. So I'm a very firm believer in being diligent, in taking the opportunities that come your way, because all of our voices together are so powerful. Your voice individually is even more powerful. And yes, it may be a lonely road in the sense of support when you now start, but I think we have to bring back this national pride with our young people that we have seemed to have lost along the way. So for me, it's really about building a better Trinidad and Tobago, not just for myself, but also for my fellow colleagues, as well as my children, who eventually will have to grow up in Trinidad and Tobago.
So we are on the youth advocacy, youth empowerment topic, but I want to switch it to the Mankind 5K project that you guys are doing. That's very interesting to me, especially the name Mankind. Tell us a little bit more about that, Priya.
Yes, so Mankind actually was derived, as you rightfully said, from June being Men's Mental Health Month. What we want to do with this event is just not a 5K. We want to promote and create a safe space for men. We want to break the stigma. We want to have open conversations with men. The two of our special guest is going to be there. I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Richie Bansaraj and Mr. Gad Boyson. They are very passionate with dealing with our young men, and they are going to be there. They are going to be interacting with us. They're going to give us more information on men's mental health. The event is scheduled for July the 12th. It starts at 6:30 a.m. However, we are encouraging our participants to come a little earlier for a little warm-up. You know, we don't want any injuries or cramps on the road. The location will be Nelson Mandela Park. It's a beautiful location and very friendly for runners and walkers.
So tell me, what gave it the name Mankind? Like, because when I hear Mankind, I think everybody, but you're specifying men.
Right.
So who came up with that? What was it?
So it's really a group decision.
Yeah.
But Mankind, yes, it's for men, but it's also, we have women and children, that we have men that we need to support. So that's why we name Mankind. So it's not just for men, but we're all here to support our men. Yep.
So what is the importance of women joining in this stuff? Because there's sort of a, excuse me for even calling it out, this what's the word I'm looking for? Divide between men and women, where women aren't encouraged to kind of support men in that way. It's like, oh, there's a man, he'll handle it and he'll handle himself. So what's the importance?
I think we need to break that stigma of the man up and tough it out narrative that we have. In order to have something to become a norm in society, we need to bring awareness to it. So I think events like these would bring awareness, so we could have conversations and men could feel more vulnerable to talk about it. And when we have awareness and vulnerability, there's strength in vulnerability. And as you said, we still need the women and children to support our men. We still need that. And it's in terms of like relationships, when we get into relationships, the men that we build, the men that how we talk to them, it's important. So I think that women supporting and coming out to these events is very important.
Okay, so tell us how this may even tie into the boot camp that you guys are doing as well. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so Mankind directly ties into Amplify Bootcamp because all the proceeds that we have or we get from Mankind 5K goes directly towards our Amplify Advocacy Bootcamp 2025. So Amplify is our program created by TTN for youth advocacy, training persons, young persons in youth advocacy. This year we're heading over to our sister island, Tobago. We'll be at the USC campus in Scarborough, and we want to invite all our youth, our young people in Tobago to come on board to register. It is absolutely free. At TTN, we recognize that, yes, while we're a youth-led nonprofit organization, we recognize that it is our duty to train the next generation of youth advocates. And when we looked back at the landscape, whilst we do have a plethora of youth organizations, of youth advocates all doing their own great work, we recognize that there isn't really any solid training or any platform that provides that training for youth advocates if somebody is interested in this particular field and this calling. So based off of that recognition, last year TTN would have launched Amplify Youth Advocacy Bootcamp. It was held in San Fernando. And we have decided that we would like to do this every year, focusing on secondary school students, but not just limiting it to secondary school students, but persons who want to get involved in the youth work. It is absolutely free. It is absolutely free to all participants. We provide all course material, we provide these sessions, and at the end of it all, you get a certificate for your time with us. It's 1 week long. It's from the 21st to the 25th of July. And like I said, it's in USC Scarborough. And we have many great facilitators on board. We have sponsors on board. And we want to invite everyone to jump on board, whether you want to come on board as a participant or if you want to come on board as a sponsor, Corporate Trinidad and Tobago, we welcome all of them.
So TTN is a pretty fairly new organization. I think it was in 2020.
Yes.
Yet you guys are doing so much. I mean, I feel like everywhere I turn, I hear something about the Advocacy Network doing something.
Yes.
Can you tell us how it started? What's the real mission and goal of the organization?
Yes. So TTN, yes, established in 2020. We're a non-profit organization, youth-led. Everyone on our board of directors, national executive, young persons. Well, we go with the definition of the government, which is a youth is someone from the age of 15 to 35 years of age. I think I can proudly say that our board on our board and our national executive persons oldest, maybe 27, 28 around there. So we have a fairly young leadership at TTI. The organization, the mission of the organization, we were formed to help promote and fulfill the UN SDGs here in Trinidad and Tobago. Whilst we recognize, yes, the United Nations here in Trinidad and Tobago, the resident coordinator, the great work that they do, the great work that the international organizations do, we want to do our part to help it trickle down to the grassroots, to the common young person who may not be able to access some of these opportunities or events rather. So out of that mission, we aim to partner with these international organizations to bring their mission of the SDG goals, SDGs, to the young person, and that is our primary focus. So TTN, our structure is heavily based on the SDGs because we would have a human rights department, environmental sustainability department. So we focus a lot on the SDGs, not any particular one. We try to broaden the horizon, focus on all the SDGs and how we can fulfill them here in Trinidad and Tobago while advancing advocacy of the youth in Trinidad and Tobago.
So I want to dive back into the 5K, but I want you to clarify SDGs. Can you clarify it for our audience as well?
Yeah, so Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, as put out by the UN. So the UN focuses on specific areas that they, all United Nations affiliated countries, they want us to focus on, and they set certain timelines for countries to come into whether compliance, if that's not really the word I'm looking for, but for a lack of a better term right now, compliance. And Trinidad and Tobago, being a member of the UN, we also sign on to the SDGs. So, for example, there is no poverty, life below water, environmental sustainability, excuse me. There are so many goals, and I think the timeline we were looking at is 2030. I could be wrong, but forgive me if I am. So those SDGs are what we focus on, and we are so glad to be doing our little part here in Trinidad and Tobago, but it also brings us to the reality that whilst we're a small island developing state, we have such a big part to play in the world stage, not just here in the Caribbean. We are such a force to be reckoned with on the world stage.
Yes. As you were saying, it's not little if you're doing so much and it's making a big impact. It's not little. Yeah. So can you tell us about the 5K? What can participants expect? What makes it different than a regular run-of-the-mill going around the savannah?
So I don't want to give away everything, right? You really need to come and register. In terms of registration, you can actually test it this morning. You can actually search up Mankind 5K on Google, and the link will come up for Extra Mile TT, and you could register there. Or our social media handles, TTYAN official, and our link is there to register as well. In terms of what makes it different, you are running for a great cause, an excellent cause. Yeah, we need to support our men, especially now more than ever. We could see our young men. I think they don't know how to control their emotions with all the things that we're seeing, you know, in terms of crime as well. We really need to get a hold and guide them.
When it comes to the focus on young men to try and tie in youth empowerment with the 5K run that you guys are doing, when it comes to young men looking to the older men, do you think that there's that sort of trust between a young man and an older man? Do you think that our young people can actually look to the older generation for support?
I have my reservations on that, but I definitely think I would put it into a perspective where fatherhood is so important for, and not just, I will put the daughters aside for now, but fatherhood for a boy child is so important. I think a father being able to talk to his son in a loving way and how to, you know, handle your emotions is so important, especially now more than ever. When social media is such a big thing and, you know, it's easy to get carried away. I think a father in a son's life is so important. And I think being able to look up to your father is a really important, to be able to look up to, not just have him around, but to be able to look up to him and admire him and be able to talk to him about anything as a son, as a man, is very, very important.
Let's have a conversation about this. I mean, it's not just presence, it's about participation. And I feel like a lot of the times we're lacking that. A lot of young men, they do not see, and it's not because I think we have a lack of that in men, it's just I don't think we
foster that culture.
We don't prop it up enough. When we see a man doing good, it's like, he should be doing that. You know, we don't say, you know, this is a man doing good, and let's see if we can get him to mentor young ones. So can we have a conversation more so about that?
Yeah, so I think that it's a cultural and societal shift that needs to take place. A lot of the times, like you rightfully said, you said, well, he's a man, he has to do that, or, you know, tough it up. But it's so important to understand that we touch on fatherhood, and that's where it starts. It starts at home with us. We can implement many programs, many mentorship programs. I agree, they are effective to a certain extent, but everything starts at the home. That family unit is so important, especially fatherhood. Being a father is such a tall calling. I can't underscore how important it is to be that positive role model for your sons and for other men. It doesn't have to be family related, or, you know, but it has to start at home. And I think whilst, yes, men, we need that support, and we need, well, the help from in terms of being there with us, I also have to say to us men, we need to do better. Because if you look at the statistics, right, there are lots of men who leave their families. There are a lot of men who have children who don't take part in their lives. They have multiple children with multiple persons. And I think we need to come to that reality that men, we need to do better as well. We cannot say, yes, we want the support, and then we're not doing the work. So it has to work hand in hand. And I'm a man. I can say this, we need to do better, men. If we're asking for this support, we also have to do our part in ensuring that our sons, our nephews, our neighbors, we must hold each other accountable. We must do better.
Are we seeing enough young men engage in these types of conversations of wanting better for themselves?
Well, it really is a matter of who you ask. For me, I would say no. This conversation needs to be more on a national level. Yes, we have pockets of society who engage in this conversation, who recognize the value of men having mentors, wanting better, building a better life for themselves. But it needs to be more wide scale, we need to rope in more persons, the national level, the government ministries, corporate Trinidad and Tobago. It's a whole of society approach. I think a problem we have in Trinidad and Tobago is that we have many groups doing the same thing, and we're all dividing each other. But if we come together and collaborate, I'll give you an example, CARICOM, together we are stronger on the world stage. Same thing applies for Trinidad and Tobago. We have all these great organizations, youth-led, youth-focused, NGOs. We all focus on the same issues, but if we come together, we can be a force to be reckoned with.
So I'm a Rotaractor, so I'm thinking a TTN and Rotary partnership can come up.
For sure.
For the Spain West.
Something nice.
For
You're
sure.
a director as well?
Not in that district, but I am, yes.
It's beautiful. I love how, like, a lot of the times youth are gravitated towards these different organizations, and I feel like we can do more to work together. It's really easy to strike a strategic partnership that will bring about some huge change.
I totally agree with you. I am so big on collaboration. I think sometimes we underestimate the quality of persons we have.
Indeed. I was just going to touch on that,
We have superb persons, youth advocates, national advocates. We have such a good quality of persons involved in the youth space. I think sometimes we overlook it, and then when we see them on a national, international stage, we say, "Oh my goodness, he's from Trinidad." Yes, but he was always from Trinidad.
Exactly. She was always from Trinidad.
Oh yeah, sorry, excuse me, he or she. But I think it also underscores that the support needs to come throughout the process, not just when you make it big and you're representing on the world stage, but what about when we start at grassroots? Where is the support then? So I'm not saying this to bash anyone, but I'm saying that we have so many great things going on in the name of youth. We have so many great youth advocates, but the support rarely comes until you get big in the dance, so to speak. And I don't agree with that, but I truly believe that if youth are the leaders of tomorrow, as we all like to quote and say, and then the support needs to come today.
Want to see the interest coming from someone, sincere interest and hard work. So, Bria, you were the Grants and Fundraising Officer of Mankind.
Newly into that role,
Newly into that role, yes, and she's doing fantastic.
Yes, she is.
So you're the Grants and Fundraising Officer. What do you hope is the outcome of this 5K?
I hope not only to raise funds for Amplify, of course, but I really and truly hope that people come there on July the 12th. Just a reminder again, guys, race starts promptly at 6:30 a.m. Come a little early, for the warm-up. I really and truly hope that we're able to get men to start talking a little more, having more open conversations, breaking that stigma. That's really, really what I'm hoping that would happen, yes.
I really, really like the idea of this 5K. How much is it to participate?
$150. We're asking persons to wear the color green to commemorate men's mental health, and you will receive a medal, all participants.
Even if I crawl?
Yeah, you could walk, that's fine, and crawl, that's fine. Once you pass the finish line.
There's one thing about me, I have no shame. I will. If I can't make and I can't walk, I will crawl.
Yes, and we do have a little vendors after, so people could, interact, walk around. And again, Mr. Richie Bansraj would be there, and Mr. God Voice, and we also have other people that will be on board. So we will be having conversations, we'll be interacting. So it's not just you run the 5K and you go home. So come and have a great time, support a great initiative.
Repeat the date and the time once more, please.
Sure, it's July 12th. The race starts promptly at 6:30 a.m., but we're asking participants to come a little before for a little warm-up.
You guys are going to see me sign up for this 5K on live television, by the way. Because as you said, it really is a great initiative. But not just that, I mean, it's a 5K, it's exercise. It's even if you do walk, or as I said, crawl, you're getting some exercise in, and not only that, but it's everything about it is good. Money towards a great cause. You get to work your body, you get to learn more about men's mental health, and then on top of that, you get to be in a part of a community of like-minded individuals.
And you can network. Correct.
And you can network.
Great networking opportunity.
Yes.
Okay, so Amplify. Is it that you're going into schools?
No.
Okay.
So we are based in University of the Southern Caribbean, Scarborough campus. So we're inviting all schools in Tobago, secondary schools, to register their students, young persons in Tobago to register. The link is available in our bio as well. And our form is online. There's a QR code you can scan as well. Or if not, you can feel free to email us at secretariat.ttyan@gmail.com, and we can facilitate the registration. So it's from the 21st to the 25th of July in Tobago. And we are inviting everybody to come to USC. Like I said, everything is absolutely free. And if I may, TTN, we want to say thank you to the sponsors who have come on board thus far. TechU Credit Union, the Massey Foundation, Halo Hair, TGU Trinidad Generation Unlimited, USC, of course, and we welcome any other sponsors if you wish to be on board with this particular project, or just supporting TTN on the whole, because we are a youth-led organization, so that support helps us complete and transform the mission that we take to young persons on a national level. And it's real quality things, the facilitators, the material. We're training young persons. Amplify is about training young persons in public speaking, etiquette, professionalism, digital campaigning, identifying problems and solutions for those problems. So it's really quality material that you will continue to have access to. You become a member of our network, and it's just really great stuff all around.
It's lovely to see that a youth-led organization has so much focus on the digital space as well. I clocked that when you were talking about it. It was young people always have this emphasis on what's next, what's future. So I really like that you brought that aspect of it in as well. So what do you promise? I mean, as you said before, they walk away with certain skills and etiquette training and all of that. What kind of experience do you hope the youngest of the young that come onto the program, what do you hope they walk away with?
Well, I hope that the youngest person that comes in, I hope that they leave transformed. I hope that they leave reinvigorated with national pride, with recognizing that their voice echoes and is a force for great change throughout the country. Because I don't look at it as a young person just learning and leaving. I look at it as skills that you put into your bank, and we could have the future Prime Minister, President, government members, ministers taking part in this program, learning from this program, or igniting that dream and passion. They're saying, you know what, I want to get into government because of this program to make a change. So whatever your purpose is, whatever your dream, passion is to make a difference in this country, we hope that these skills will help you with that dream, that passion.
So as we begin to wrap up a little bit here, I just have some rapid fire questions for you guys. So you can take as long as you want to answer it, no pressure. But what is one thing, and I'll start with you, Priya, you wish more people understood about men's mental health?
I wish people would understand that, well, I wish the men would understand that they are not alone. I know that it's very easy to get caught up in your head and be like, oh my God, why am I going through this? Why is just me? I know with social media as well, you're constantly comparing yourself, you know, why I'm not getting anywhere in my life, you know. I need men to understand that you're not alone. This too shall pass, you know, hold strong. We need a community to come together and to assist one another. We need to be a team. You know, not everybody should be alone. That is why we are all here. God made us all here together. Yes, I just want men to know that they are not alone in this fight.
I really have to echo what Priya is saying as well. It takes a village, not just to raise a child, but it takes a village to offer that support. We need to break the stigma that big man don't cry. Let's stop that, please. Showing emotion is not a sign of weakness for a man. It's a sign of strength. It's being able to say that, yes, I am a man, but I also have emotions. But also, emotional intelligence is a big thing that we also need to recognize plays a part in this mental health stigma that we have. So I wish people understand that sometimes men, well, not sometimes, men do get frustrated, men do feel depression, men do feel tired, because there are a lot of burdens placed on the man, especially if you're a provider for your family. That pressure alone. And men, we have this thing where we don't like to speak about what's going on inside our head, and I think too that's where we need as men to speak up and say, hey, you know what, I'm not feeling so well. I'm feeling a bit down. And that is where the support is crucial coming in.
So how do you guys think that we can rectify the social expectation of the role of a man with this, what you're saying here, that men are allowed to cry, men are allowed to feel tired, men are allowed to voice their frustration? How do we, especially like, say with the 50-50 conversation, right? So on one end, people are saying, well, with the economic times we live in right now, 50-50 is expected. But then you have other people on the other end saying that, no, a man has to take care of everything else, he's not a man. So how do we rectify those two things?
I would say, firstly, awareness. As I said, events like this, having more talks about it would definitely have some changes, some impact. If we only have these things only once a year or 2 times for the year, it's not really going to do as much. But if it's something that we're constantly doing, we have programs, we have workshops, we're constantly talking about it on TV, and you know, on the radio, it's something that is always in talks. I think it's something that we could change, and it could bring awareness to other people.
Yeah, I definitely agree. National conversation, it has to be there. It has to be the priority of everyone, like I mentioned before. It has to be a whole of society approach. We cannot just always expect the government to do everything. And whilst, yes, the government is there to create laws of the land, to implement policy, and they have a major part up there as well, we ourselves as citizens, not even youth advocates, but as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we need to take that step to have these conversations, to bring awareness, to let people know what's really going on the ground. Because sometimes the view is so different from up there to the ground level. We need to bridge that gap.
What support are you looking for, not just from the public, but as you would have mentioned, from government organizations, if any? Government ministries, if any?
Yeah, I think that partnership is important. Let's be very frank and honest. It takes finances to have these programs, so financial support where it's necessary, or even partnership, having a government ministry say that they are endorsing this project. That simple endorsement can go very long ways on an international market for a company. Even corporate Trinidad and Tobago getting involved, whether through partnership, whether through financial sponsorship, whatever the case is, but it has to be a more conversation on these things. It's so good that when we talk about all the initiatives and projects, but sometimes we ourselves need to understand that to get to that point, it was a lot of hard work, groundwork. Priya and I can attest that this 5K Amplify, the level of work that goes into these two projects alone. These are two of many projects of the TTN. Like I said, these are persons who have jobs and also the youth responsibilities. These are persons who are in tertiary level education and youth responsibilities, and nobody gets paid for this. So this is just purely passion, national pride, and wanting better for our fellow youth. So yeah, it's a lot of hard work, but the work needs to get done. So support is crucial from government and the private sector.
But I must say it's very rewarding at the end.
Of course.
It's very rooted at the end.
Yeah.
I think that's what pushed us when we see the faces of the youth when they come out, you know, when they're able to get information. I think it's very rewarding.
So what's like a mantra that kind of keeps you guys going? Because I guess, as you said, rightfully said, it's a lot of work.
I think for me it's just prayers. I pray a lot, I read my Bible, so that keeps me going.
I think about my future children. What life would I want them to have or want them to inherit? What the country I would want for them? I love to look at the future, and I believe that the only way we can shape the future is getting involved in the present. So my mindset, my mantra is that let's see what I can do. It starts with me. If I always use this analogy, if somebody throws a bottle on the ground, and everybody throws a bottle on the ground, we have litter. But if every person picks up one piece, litter goes away, right? So I always say, what can I do for my country? And if everybody adopts that mindset, we will see a flood of these single acts of kindness and advocacy all add up to the collective better of Trinidad and Tobago.
That's wonderful. So just to recap, on July 12th, it's the Mankind 5K. At Nelson Mandela, the cost is $150. So head to their social media, TTYN official, where you can find the link to register, or as you said, you can look it up as well. Google it.
Mankind 5K.
Mankind 5K, where you guys can find out some more information about it. But I urge you to go register for this, and again, I am going to do it right after. they're gonna attest to it so that they could see as well. Because if I'm doing it, I think this is a fantastic cause to join. So go ahead and register and support, because as you see, they're doing wonderful work. As well as July 21st to the 25th at the USC?
USC in Scarborough, yes. Absolutely free. All our young people in Tobago, come out. We'd love to have you. Join us for this excellent boot camp, Amplify Youth Advocacy Boot Camp, July 21st to 25th. register online, link in the bio as well, or visit our social media pages, or email us at secretariat.ttn@gmail.com, and we will help you with the registration. But yes.
Is it whole day?
Yes, it is. It is whole day, but don't worry. We have meals provided. We have everything covered. You just need to show up and come with expectant mind and come ready to learn.
As you can see, a lot of work went into this. So go ahead and take part. This is for you, for my young people. And if you know somebody, your parents, you have a young child or somebody that's in your life that's young and can benefit from a program like this, go ahead and tell them about it. Head to TTN Official on the social media, Instagram, Facebook, or you can email them at secretariat.ttn@gmail.com. Again, July 12th is the 5K, 150 to participate. Go register. And the 21st to the 25th of July, the USC, at USC is the Amplify program for our youth in Tobago.
Yes.
Yes? So, what a wonderful conversation.
Yes.
How are you guys feeling?
Yes.
Good?
Yes, feeling
Thank you
good.
very much for having us.
Yes.
It was amazing getting to meet you guys and to hear about the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
Again, it is a lot of work, but it
Yes.
is good work.
Definitely good work.
And
yeah.
I thank you
You're so
for doing that, as it is needed. So you're not just doing it for the youth, but of course for community. With an empowered youth, an empowered foundation of base that the youth stand on, that can only build up our community even more. It can build up our society even more. Trinidad and Tobago needs strong and empowered youth.
That's right.
As you rightfully have here. So we wish you all the best.
Thank you so
With
much.
your initiatives, and thank you so much for coming on the program.
So glad to be here. Thank you.
All right, so we're just going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with you. It is good. It's Feel Good Friday, so we have some feel good stories coming up for you right after, so stay with us.
My name is Dr. Stephen Carroll, the CEO at Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist, and we are committed to making good private health care affordable.
For all your medical needs, including dental, radiology, laparoscopy, behavioral and mental health, along with many other services, contact us for more information at 235-5479.
Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
Something very important, there is an intrinsic neurotrophic factor that is released through myokines, that is some peptides that we have in our muscle that produce neuromodulation and increase that peptide in the brain to increase the neurocognitive of the brain.
I'm glad you said that, right. So exercise has an important part to play in the aging brain. As we get older, our gray matter does shrink, we have reduction of synapses, but exercise is shown to actually improve our cognitive functioning.
Totally.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm not to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
let's go to the last part.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really want
to me. Respond to me how you would respond to me.
The first question I'll ask is why?
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say,
services.
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So here we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
This is 10 questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for. It's called loss and damage. And we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region.
Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
All right, welcome back to AM Prime on WESN. So as you guys know, today is Feel Good Friday. I just have 2 stories to bring to you guys, because you know in the news cycle, it can be very negative a lot of the time. We report on politics, things going around in Parliament that may not be so favorable, bills being passed that, you know, a lot of debates, a lot of things that are just negative. And we have to know about these things, but it's also good to know about what's good going on in the world, what's happening in the world that is meant to bring about a positive feeling, because as much as we like to think that it's only bad out there in the world, good people are still doing good things. So this story comes to us from Iceland. It's a country that's often criticized for its whaling past, where they used to kill whales. There's a very uplifting story that I was just reading about in Iceland, a mass stranding of about 60 pilot whales. They were stranded on one of the beaches of Iceland. I wish I could pronounce the word, but not at the moment. But it was last Sunday, and there was a swift response from locals and emergency crews. So the whales were stranded on the beach in a remote town. Emergency crews, backed by dozens of local volunteers, ended up rushing to the scene at about 7 p.m., and they had managed to return the entire pod to open water. So as you would have known in Iceland's past, they were known for whaling. They were known for not being very kind to the sea community, to sea animals. And this just demonstrates a change, a shift in culture, and the relationship between humans and animals. So all 60 pilot whales were returned to the ocean safely and sound, and none were beached at all. So I just thought that was a really uplifting story to highlight. There was one witness that was visiting from California. He described the scene as overwhelming. He said it was his first time being so close to whales. Because imagine that, you're there, you're chilling on a vacation, and you look outside your hotel window and you just see a bunch of whales just coming up, all right, so around the seaboard there, with the sea bank where it meets the sand. That's an amazing feat, something amazing to see. And then you see all the emergency crews, and you see volunteers go out to help the whales who can't turn back on their own, to help them turn back so that they can be safe and sound. And I found that was a really inspiring story that I would have come across this morning. So from tragedy, what could have been tragedy, it became a story of hope, it became a story of help, it became a story of human nature, it became a story of how humans help nature, and how because a lot of the times we focus on how humans have destroyed nature, and how the bad apples can treat animals bad, can treat wildlife bad. But sometimes, and a lot of the times actually, there's good being done. People are honoring their commitment to standing by Mother Nature, to standing by the animals that we need in our ecosystem to keep us running. So I think that was a really important thing to highlight. Another story that I would have come across, this was in the Newsday, where the St. Augustine Rotary Club committed $90,000 to the University of the West Indies scholarships and bursaries. So it demonstrates a decades-long tradition of service and generosity. The Rotary Club of St. Augustine has pledged just $90,000 over the next 3 years. So every 3 years, they will be giving $30,000 to provide critical financial support to undergraduate students in need. This shows an amazing commitment of how organizations, big organizations, can give back to the communities. It shows the importance of having organizations like these to be able to fill that gap for students, for people in need, just wherever it's needed, but especially for students. So the official check handing over took place on the campus, where Rotary Club President Amajit Kosher presented the Principal Professor Derek Chaddy, joined by Christy Smith, Manager of the Financial Advisory Services. So the funds will be disbursed through the campus committee for undergraduate awards to ensure fair and transparent allocation. So one of the things that Mr. Kosher would have said was, for decades, members of the Rotary Club of St. Augustine have given generously, both as a club and from their own pockets, to uplift students and strengthen higher education, access to higher education, which I think is really important right now, as we would have just had a conversation about youth empowerment, about why it's important for youth to take their place in society in a big way. And that honestly starts with education, knowing about certain things, having an ability to grasp certain things, just having the access, and that starts with education. So I thought that was a really important topic to highlight, because at the end of the day, yes, bad things are going on, but good is also being done, and it's important to highlight those things. So I wanted to thank you so much for joining us here on AM Prime this morning. Stay tuned for Talking Point with Sean Michael Small coming up on the hour of 8 o'clock. So stay with us and don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Bye-bye.
WESN.
Hi, I'm Claudette, radiographer at the radiology departments at the community hospital. We offer high-quality service with state-of-the-art equipment in X-ray, ultrasound, CT, and mammogram. Come, our friendly staff awaits you.
Give us a call at 235-5479.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's